and welcome to Recall the Midwife. We are three Call the Midwife superfans who watch an episode and talk about it. Today, we are talking about Series 9, Episode 1. I'm Alex.
I'm Becky.
I'm Jen. A reminder that this week's episode deals with infant abandonment, homelessness, chronic illness, and abuse. So if those are topics you would prefer to skip this time, we understand and hope you join us for the next one.
It's January 1965, and after learning of the death of Sir Winston Churchill, the residents of Poplar prepare to pay their respects. We meet Dina and her son Terence, who is preparing for his 11 plus. Dina is a single parent who is expecting her second child. Dina and Terry are living in a homeless shelter, and with Nurse Crane's help, they're given a council flat. When Dina goes into labour, Terry returns home from school to an empty flat. He's already unwell and collapses. Miss Higgins is sent to check on him, and she finds him unconscious on the floor. Dr. Turner diagnoses diphtheria, and Poplar suffers an outbreak, which is traced back to the homeless shelter. Sister Frances is on a night shift at the maternity home and calls Fred out following a power cut. As Fred is leaving, he hears a baby crying and discovers an abandoned baby in a bin. Fred names the baby Primrose, and her mother eventually comes forward. Brenda works as a live-in housekeeper for a local priest. She is supported by Trixie and Mother Mildred, and she's reunited with Primrose. Father Duncombe tries to encourage Brenda to have the baby adopted, but she's given shelter at the mother house. Sister Julienne receives unwelcome news that Nonata's house has been condemned following a slum clearance survey. Val is still struggling following her grandmother's imprisonment and hasn't visited her. And Trixie, Lucille and Val enter a competition to win a year's supply of tights. Now, I've ended that synopsis with the weirdest sentence, just about kind of
a supply of tights.
I want to talk about the tights bits, but first, can we talk about the new series, new hair? I always love a new series with all the new hair.
Well, and I just gotta say right off the bat, and I know we're gonna get into detail, but I grumbled a lot about season 8, and I'm owning that, but when I tell you we are back, baby, this episode was amazing. I mean, we are like back from a break on the pod. We are back. Like season 9 was just hitting. Like it was so on point. Like I don't know why. Like everyone was, oh my god. I mean, I was sobbing throughout the episode. I felt heartwarmed throughout the episode. I was laughing. Like I felt the nostalgia. I felt the personal connection to my own life. Like I was reflecting internally. I was like loving the thing. I mean, this was a very, very, very good Call the Midwife episode, and I'm just gonna say that right off the bat. So yeah,
It really was.
For me,
Flopsy
I
and
was loving
Genevieve as well, getting a shout out.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, I've reached peak Call the Midwife because that scene with Dr. Turner sat grooming a rabbit.
Oh.
How did he keep a straight face?
Although here's the thing, the only time I saw the rabbits was when Angela and May were sitting with the rabbits. So where did the rabbits come
no,
from?
he was grooming it on the table.
Oh my god, did you miss this scene, Jen?
Well, listen, I don't know if it was deleted or not. According to my brain, it was deleted. But like, if viewers in America saw it, then that's on whatever. But like, I didn't get like literally all of a sudden, Dr. Turner and Sheila were sitting like lovingly looking from the couch at the kids as they were petting the rabbits, and I was like, when did we get rabbits? And then I was like, oh well, anyways, and I just moved right on with it. So
he was petting Flopsy. Go on.
Yeah, Flopsy is the school rabbit who has come to stay with
that. No.
So Genevieve is their rabbit. They've got Flopsy staying. Flopsy and Genevieve have a little entanglement.
Well, they thought Flopsy was a girl, but he has proven by fathering lots of children with Genevieve that he is not a girl.
Very on brand for Call the Midwife.
Yeah.
Babies will out, you know what I mean? Oh, I will say when you said the thing about Dr. Turner, I thought you were going to talk about, this is jumping ahead, so I don't know why I thought you were going to go here, but like I thought you were going to talk about when baby Primrose had first come into the surgery and she was laying on the bed and he was going like this around her little cheeks, like he was just kind of like, I don't know how to describe it because I'm like miming it now that I'm on the video, but like for listeners, like when you watch the scene, he has both of his hands on the side of her cheeks and he's kind of just like touching her head and everything in this way that makes me feel like he's really an actor trying to be a doctor.
Well, do you know what? That's weird because that's exactly what he is.
But it was very like, what am I supposed to do with this baby? And so it was like, well, just act like you're examining her. And then he was just like, okay. And then he just was kind of like, boop, boop, okay, oop, ah, like it was very funny to me, but yeah.
Should we talk about Dina and Terence first?
Yes.
Sorry, I had to remember. I was like, who's Dina and Terence? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
So Terry's going to be doing his 11 plus because he's trying to get into grammar school.
Oh, sweetie Terry.
Oh, they're so cute.
He's so lush. They're living in a homeless shelter, which is infested with bed bugs.
Like Nurse Crazy even puts her head to the wall and is like, oh, I can. Oh, there's bed bugs in that wall. I'm like, what?
Infestation is not a strong enough word for what's happening here. Let's just say that. I mean, this when spoiler alert, later on in this episode, when they say that the whole thing is going to be demolished, I'm like, absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Like that whole build, like when they walk in, Nurse Crane like comes into the room and she sweeps aside dead bugs off of the night table. Like, okay, here's the thing. Okay, for any of our listeners who are like go way back, when we read the first book and Jenny Worth was describing going to see Mr. Collett and like going to his house, this scene has literally like stayed in my brain. Like, as the kids say, like it lives rent free in my brain. In the book, so in the show, it's like, oh, there's bugs or whatever, like Jennifer Worth, and then she comes back and everyone's like, get over it, like, you're too much of a princess or whatever. In the book, she describes in detail what she sees, and the way she writes that scene, it's like literally like she looks at a wall that she thinks is black, she does a double take, and she sees that the thing that she thinks is like light, like shimmering over the top of it, is actually movement from the thick layer of bugs that are on the wall itself. And that image has, I'm not kidding you, haunted my dreams since I have read that passage. And they didn't depict that in the show this episode.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Jen,
that's what it called back to.
All this other stuff they've talked about, abuse, all this, and you're like, those bugs on that wall.
Well, everything has traumatized me when it comes to it. I'm not saying it hasn't, but like that image for whatever reason has just like really was like so vivid and like really left it. I mean, if you want me to like list everything that like really harmed my mental health by reading those books, I will tell you. But
not right now. Maybe we'll do a special. Yeah.
But it's the fact that Violet is also off to a pest control subcommittee meeting. But I can't think of a worse meeting to go to.
Well, but here's the thing, girls, and this is like a legitimate question, okay? Like when they talked about what is it, Deanna? Did you say her name was? Dina. Like Nurse Crane says to Sister Hilda, she's like, well, I can't take her out of the home because then Terry will go to foster care. So that's why I can't book her into the maternity home. And you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, I get it. Which still terrible. And it's like, like, that's not the end of how, like, I mean, they have to do other things to try to help her out. But the first scene of the episode is where Sister Julian is helping that woman give birth. And the ceiling is literally crackling, like, down onto her pregnant body in labor. And she's like, oh, yeah, I was supposed to move into a council flat months ago, but, who even lives in those things?
Like, I've never... because there's a wrecking ball going on, knocking a load of stuff down as well.
Yeah, and then Sister Julian's like, oh, that sucks. Anyway, well, can you push now, please? And it's just like, why is this woman in the home giving birth? Like, I was like, I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
Well, a big theme of this episode was like progress and moving forward, and I think with Winston Churchill's death as well, it's very much that new times and.
Well, can I just say just now you've just said about Winston Churchill's death, Fred looked really shocked and said, "Old Winnie finally pegged it." I mean, and then he took his hat off as a mark of respect. Old Winnie finally pegged it. Like what? Respectful.
Oh, see, I didn't take it so. You thought that was like disrespectful? You didn't like that?
Old Winnie finally pegged it. I don't know. I just thought that's a bit like, it's a bit on the nose. Like that's a bit.
Oh,
I mean, I did think he was great because he took his hat off, but I was just a bit like, awkward.
Yeah,
it was just. I think they felt so like familiar and.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Pegged it.
So I feel like it was a mark of how British people felt like Winston Churchill was like somebody that they almost like knew in their family or something. You know what I mean? Or like I feel like because Fred and Winston Churchill are probably not like that different. Well, actually, that's not true.
No, they are, because he was 90 when he died.
Oh, never mind. I was trying to think maybe they were closer in age, but then
it was quite problematic because he was really popular during the war, but then he was quite popular not that great popular afterwards. Yeah.
Well,
what political party was Winston Churchill?
He was Tory, wasn't he? He was a Conservative.
Well, I would imagine, actually.
Is that true?
As soon as I said that, because I thought he's so posh.
God, that is shocking.
Remember, he was the leader of the Conservative Party.
Oh my God, that really shocks me, actually. If you'd asked me to guess, I wouldn't have.
Because I'm just saying.
I'm sure you're right, but I just can't. I mean, it makes sense because
leader of the Conservative Party. Well, 1940 to 1955.
Girls, remember this? So, listeners, this is a little window into our personal lives. We all got together a few years ago, right before COVID, like literally right before COVID. I came over to the UK. We all went out. We all had a girls' weekend, everything with all of our friends from university, and we went to Oxford and we went to Blenheim Palace. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was Winston Churchill's family home.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Bex. That's where they just held the big thing for, what was it, UN or NATO? They just held a massive thing there this week.
No, that was in America, wasn't it?
That was here. There was one at Blenheim Palace this week. There was one in America last week and one in Blenheim Palace this week. 100%.
Oh.
But anyways, we went there.
I was there. I remember it.
And again, another memory that made a big impression on me because I don't know why. I mean, I
it
thought
didn't
of this.
make an impression on me.
Yeah,
No.
well, very clearly. So, but what was funny was that I remember we were like walking around the grounds, and it's a massive, massive place. I mean, anyone who's been there, it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's gorgeous. Yeah,
it's so beautiful. I mean, it's really, really an unbelievable like architectural feat. And just thinking of, and I like, so one of the things I've always liked about Winston Churchill is his wife is named Clementine. I've always had a thing for the name Clementine. I think that's a really sweet name. And so like, for whatever reason, it just got in my head that like, imagine like her dating him. And again, I know it's not exactly the same because it's different times or whatever, but like them courting, and then him taking her like quote home for the first time to like see his family and everything like that, and just like walking into Blenheim Palace is like, oh yeah, this is mine, this is like where this is my, yeah, that's my, and it just made this is, I'm sure not at all what it was like, but okay, I don't know if everyone watched Saltburn, but remember where the guy goes to the rich like boy, so like Barry Keogh goes to Jacob Elordi's house and he's like this really aristocratic like hot young guy or whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, like there's the Renoir, there's the sculpture, there's the
China, here's the library.
Yeah, he's like, that's like the portrait gallery, dead Relly, like the whole thing he's walking through. Like that to me is like what I'm picturing except instead of a friend, it's like his girlfriend, and Winston Churchill is just, like just this unbelievable aristocrat. Like I can't even.
Anyway, so Terry, he's also, actually, one more thing about this storyline that was really integral to the storyline, so I am on point.
Okay.
When did he go to boarding school? When did I miss this?
Who went to boarding school?
Timothy.
I don't think they ever spoke about it.
Yeah, it's like literally he rang up from boarding school saying he loved the Dundee cake, but more teenage boys wanted more. I'm like, excuse me, sorry? When last time he was in his purple thing.
Again, that was another blazer,
and it was too short, and there was literally not one thing about him being at boarding school.
No.
See, Tim for me is like very inconsistent in the episodes I watch, so I never really think twice when Tim's there or not there. So I didn't really put.
Well, he's at boarding school, Jen.
Well,
well, it's after the holidays. He just went. It's January. He had to go back to school.
Yeah, but it was just Christmas, and he wasn't at boarding. Like the term starts in September.
Yeah,
I know, but he would have come home for the holidays. Like, imagine like Harry Potter. Like all the kids left at Christmas.
Yeah, but we've just watched the whole of Series 8, and he wasn't at boarding school.
Not one mention. In fact, if anything, he was in his purple uniform for the local grammar school.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Well, firstly, I could not send a child to boarding school, and then secondly, I did love. This is part, obviously, Dr. Turner was with the rabbit. But did you see the scene where Timothy rang and they all were like desperate to talk to him?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh. Well, that was another heartwarming scene.
Oh. Well, good. I probably just would have kept crying, honestly.
Oh, do you know what broke my heart? When Terry asked his mum, once the new baby comes, whether they'll be a family.
Yeah. She was like, you're already a family, you dingus.
Yeah. Well, I kind of didn't get what he meant by that because of that thing. I was like, well, you're a family now. Like, why would the baby change being a family? I kind of didn't understand that.
I think he just two of them.
Because it was just the two of them.
Oh, I mean, I will say, like, I felt
Tim,
for him...
I'm not being funny, Terry. If you're going to try and pass the 11 plus, you're already family, yeah?
Yeah.
Come on, get it together.
What I thought was a bit of a more, like, with the scene was when he said, is the baby going to look like me? And she was like, no, she's going to, like, the baby's going to look more like me. And he was like, okay. And I was like, is this a conversation we need to have? Like, do we need to say more about this? And
so for context, should we talk about Terry and Dina? Bex, do you want to?
You always love conversations like this, right, Bex?
I'll do it then. So Dina and Terry.
No, what I object to here is you want to talk about it.
No, I'm just saying about.
You were talking about. No,
I'll talk about it. I brought it up
on the spot because you've now said, "Why don't you talk about it?" No, you know exactly what you want to say. You say it.
No, but you were already doing it. That's why I thought I was being rude and taking it off you. That's why I was trying to offer it.
This is like Jenn with the book review. Like she'll give us an in-depth analysis, and then she'll say, "I'm talking too much. Do you guys want to talk?" And you're like. No, you carry on.
No, I genuinely thought that we'd literally interrupted you. So, Terry and Dina. Terry is Dina's 11-year-old son or 10-year-old son who's about to do his 11 plus. They're living in a homeless shelter. She's 7 months pregnant. They applied for a council house or flat 7 months ago, trying to get it sorted. Haven't been able to sort it. They're living in this horrible roach-infested place. And they've basically... She's having... Why did they go to the actual roach-infested place in the first place? Was she having Braxton Hicks?
Braxton Hicks. She thought she'd gone into labour, but she hadn't. False alarm.
Yeah. So Nurse Crane decides she's going to do something about this. And this is what annoys me, because Nurse Crane could do something about it. She rang up and got them basically keys offered to a flat, which is amazing, don't get me wrong. But it was annoying, wasn't it?
Yeah, she shouldn't have had to have done that.
No. And the fact that she can, like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So then Dina... So they're looking around to get... She's got vouchers from the council to get some stuff to this brand new flat, but she needs furniture and stuff like that. So Dina, while Terry's at school, goes shopping and gets like a pram and everything all sorted for her, or has a pram. I presume she's using that pram to get stuff. Anyway, she goes into labour on the walk, which did look absolutely really being painful. But at the same time, Terry's asleep.
Wait. Why did you think it looked painful? Because she just kept going, ow, ow.
I was just walking around.
And I was like,
it's horrible.
I was like, Dina, come on now.
No, I think I was just more... I tried to walk whilst giving birth, and it was awful. You know, when you're like trying to get from the car to the hospital, I just remember it being horrendous. But then
I just
poor
thought it was
Terry's
wild.
asleep on his desk, and they're a bit like... He's obviously a really star pupil, and no one's like saying anything until like, Terry, get up. And he looked so pallid and awful, like letting himself into the... and then
I need to talk about his teacher, because he's doing his 11 plus. He's obviously a really engaged pupil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did she not think,
what's up here?
It's odd that he's fallen asleep here. He's clearly not well.
Okay. He doesn't do this every day.
Girls, this has got it. I don't know if it's the same actress, but this is the same teacher that, and I'm not going to remember this girl's name, but this is the same teacher that treated the girl who had...
Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. The girl who looked really dirty and kept falling over all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And like she was a star student, like everything was fine with her, and then all of a sudden she was like falling asleep in class a lot and not able to pull it together, and then the teacher says, come up here and do something on the blackboard or whatever, and she gets up and she like takes 2 steps and then she falls down, and the teacher's like, can you please pull it together, young lady, or something like that. And it's like, ma'am, is something wrong with you? Like it just the lack of understanding of any context with these children was insane, and I'm totally with you both on that point. So also,
it's the fact that Sister Hilda's popped into the classroom because she's trying to track down another child, and the teacher's just like, well, I've not seen them for 2 weeks, I guess they've just moved on.
Oh, well, it's like, well, were you going to mention it to anyone? No, probably not. I mean, you've asked, so I'm not going to not tell you.
I put it on the register. What more do you want?
Oh my God, just...
So anyway, Dina goes into labour. She goes to the maternity home. So did she go to the maternity home first because she was in town or something? And Lucille's like, you're in labour, mate. You're staying here. Yeah, and she was like, well, I need to get home to my little boy. This is very inconvenient. She was like, I don't really care if it's inconvenient or not, mate. Your baby's coming. So we'll get Miss Higgins to go and check on him. So she gives birth, has a lovely little boy, really cute.
Oh, but we do need to talk about, because it's not straightforward because she has a cord prolapse. So she has to call in. And I need to talk about this because Nurse Crane comes in so calm. She's literally responded to the emergency bell. And she doesn't rush in. She just calmly enters the room. She doesn't immediately say, what's wrong? She just makes conversation, eases her way into it.
Oh, I was hoping it'd be you.
Yeah. Lucille needs to work on her game face, because the look when she looked down there, I was like, oh my God, what's happened? She just needs to work out how to not portray what she's thinking in her facial expressions.
I mean, I've got to 43 and not done it. Neither can you. We just can't do it.
It's hard to have a poker face.
I was about to say, you're better at it, Jen.
Oh, well, I've only had more practice, but you still have to it takes a lot of mindfulness for me. I'm not a natural.
Yeah, but in the end, everything goes fine. She has a little boy and he's really cute. And Miss Higgins, it seems to be taking hours to go and check on Terry. Anyway, she does go and check on him and he's not answering. So luckily she breaks in. Really proud of her. I know just by the key.
He was just going to leave. And I'm annoyed with her. Firstly, everybody in the world leaves their keys on a string through why didn't she just look through the letterbox and see if there was a key?
You'd see the string there as well, wouldn't you?
I was like, what? She was going to leave until she hears Terry kind of moaning for his mum.
Here's a question for, because this seems the key on the string things definitely seems to be something British people know about and do.
Did. We don't do it anymore.
So when you guys were growing up, it wasn't a thing?
No.
Did you know about it before you watched the show?
Yes.
I don't know if I did.
Okay. I did, just because it used to be in loads of like books I read when I was younger from like the 50s and 60s, like Just William and things like that. And my grandma used to have one at the back of the house, like, you know, people, burglars wouldn't go around the back, and it was like the back door. My
mum and dad once visited my grandma's house because they lived away, and she'd put a notice on the front door saying that they'd gone out, but the back door was unlocked.
You just can't do it anymore, Jen. There's too many thieves and vagabonds.
Those vagabonds.
I'm forever cursing those vagabonds. Can we just talk really quick about Dina saying it was hard and it was work, but it wasn't hard work. I've given birth, mate. It was.
That didn't really.
That line didn't hit for me either, but you know, I know what she was trying to say. She was trying to be like deep and meaningful, so I gave her a pass.
So Miss Higgins gets Dr. Turner because she finds Terry. Now, can I just say well done to Miss Higgins, because he was like, oh my goodness, can you see this? And she was like, and he's like, do you know what this is? She was like, yes, diphtheria. I think he wanted to do a big reveal himself. I think he wanted to be this, Miss Higgins. It's something very serious. And she was like, yeah, it's diphtheria. I've seen that.
He was like, oh my God, I never thought I would see this in real life. He's like, do you know what I'm looking at? And then she was like, yeah, I do. And he was like, oh, okay, well, anyways, yeah, I guess, okay. And he was like, moving on.
He gets rushed to hospital.
It did look really bad, though. It did
look
really
awful.
Bad.
It didn't look just bad. It looked disgusting.
Well, and when I saw it, I was like, what is, like, because I didn't know what it was at all, which, like, thank God I didn't. But anyway, it doesn't matter what I thought it looked like. But point is, it was disgusting, and then they went from there, so.
But then the other scene for Val and Sister Francis getting vaccines, getting told off by Nurse Crane for not being up to date.
Well, here's a terrible fact that we learned watching this episode about diphtheria. Apparently, it makes you smell.
Yeah.
Like a specific way that's not nice, which
it's apparently got like a smell to it. Like a
God.
Nurse Crane, when that other woman came in, there was another woman and she was like, oh, my niece. And Nurse Crane like sniffed her on the floor. She's like, I recognize that smell.
Anywhere, yeah, I know.
Like,
well, I was just like, excuse me, like that really threw me for a loop. I was like, oh no, like it just anyway.
So they find out where she's been staying, trying to find out a link, and they find out that she's come from the same homeless shelter that Dina and Terry were at. Also, Terry, when he went to the hospital, being like, the 11 plus is next week, and I thought, oh, Terry, you might not live till next week. Don't worry about it.
Well, my thing is, have you guys ever been like really? Well, here's my thing. I would genuinely wonder if I would be sick like that, or sick just really badly, and be like, oh, what about this thing at work? You know what I mean? Like,
oh, I 100% would be.
Oh, I don't know. I think I would worry about it, but then I don't know. I think I'd have to let it go. I don't know that I would.
When COVID happened, obviously we all got quarantined in the March. I was due to be doing an exam at the start of April, and then that obviously was cancelled, and I absolutely rejoiced. I did not care one jot for all the work I put into it. I was just happy not to do it.
Oh man. Golly. So yeah, so poor Terry's in the hospital. All these people are like falling down with diphtheria, like left, right, and center. It's like super bad news. They realize it's all coming from the homeless shelter, but how and where and who and why? Like, what's the deal? And that's a whole big mystery.
Until the little girl whose sister Hilda has been trying to track down, Sophia Ahmed, has rocked up at school. So Sister Hilda pootles off. Now this, I have to go back to the teacher now. I didn't pick up what Sister Hilda was actually trying to do. At one point I thought it was some sort of TB program.
Yeah, it was. That's exactly what it was.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was just the diphtheria vaccinations.
No, it was TB. It was TB.
Yeah, because when Terry was first ill, I thought, oh, well, he's got TB. Gonna have to go and live in a hen house. But Sophia, now the teacher, has obviously contacted Sister Hilda, said Sophia's turned up, you can do a TB, whatever. Then, as an aside, is like, oh, while you're here, have a look at this. What do you think? The massive open sore on her arm.
with insects buzzing around it. Like,
it's horrifying.
It's just an afterthought that it's just convenient that you're here, so you may as well have a look at it at the same time. Why wasn't that the first thing that she highlighted to Sister Hilda?
I know. Like that's something you'd have gone to the hospital for. That is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, the minute you saw that, you'd have been absolutely horrified.
Absolutely.
So it had started from an insect bite and then it obviously got infected.
And then it was just like spouting diphtheria around Poplar.
Yeah. So she'd come over with her family from Pakistan. They'd stayed at the homeless shelter, and basically she was kind of patient zero. Wait, did she catch diphtheria then from the insect?
I presume so. I don't really know.
In India, she caught it, but there was an insect in India.
So was it the insect, or did she just pick it up?
Well, I mean, you got to. The implication was that diphtheria is still something people are dealing with in India at this time, and then
I said I may have got that wrong.
Oh, is it not? Oh, sorry. No, it's not India. I'm wrong, right?
No, I might be wrong. Listeners, who's right?
Yeah, you can tell us. So the other thing that happened with this storyline was, I'm going to look it up. Maureen, the second cousin of Val, bursting in with her two kids. The one who was a bitch, who I gave the 0 to.
Well, she's already
with her 2 kids.
She's already been a bitch again to Val, because she's basically gone to visit Elsie. I never know what to call her. I don't feel like I should call her Elsie.
Val's gran.
She's gone to visit Val's gran with Auntie Flo. Oh, she'd been cleaning, hadn't she? She'd been round. Had she been round cleaning?
Yeah, she'd been helping out
Auntie Flo. So more slagging off of Val.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that Val hasn't visited her. I know they had that heart-to-heart when she was convicted, but Val went round to see her and she refused to answer the door to her.
Yeah, but I do think after that, after she went to prison or whatever, just before she was going to prison, I thought they kind of sorted it and then she would see her. I did think she would. I am surprised. Anyway, she panics, brings her 2 kids in, being like, they've got diphtheria. And they're like, no, actually, it's German measles. You'll be glad to know it's German measles, something that's also terrible. And keep an eye on this, because this is coming up in future storylines. Spoiler alert.
Well, but was the implication that German measles is not as serious, but like either more treatable or not as harmful or something? I don't really know about German measles. I'm going to be real.
Well,
we'll talk about. Pause this conversation, Jen.
Okay.
We'll talk about this when it comes up again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paused.
Yes.
So.
And then Val also says she's going to see her grandma. So.
Yeah. And then Terry's got diphtheria. Dina's got diphtheria. They don't want the baby to get it, so they sequester everybody.
Yeah.
But Terry does get better. They all go on antibiotics, like praise the Lord for antibiotics again in this world. And then
Terry does the 11 plus at home, but they've not got any furniture yet, so he has to do it on like a cart on the floor, a carton thing. Crate, that was it. I was thinking big into the sea.
With metal edging up to it.
I was just like, just do it on the floor, mate, or just do it at the doctor's surgery or something where they've got a table.
I am surprised that the local council put so much effort into letting them do the 11 plus.
I'm glad, though, to be fair.
Well, I am glad, but I'm just surprised at it, because I just think, how many times do people go above and beyond?
Well, true.
Well, again, this is a nice TV show where everyone's being so nice.
Yeah.
Well, how do we know he passed the 11 plus?
Because
Sheila is missing Tim, has seen his blazer hanging up, so she decides to patch clean it and steam it
to get the smell of his chemistry set out of it.
And she passes the blazer on to Terry, which I thought was lovely. Also, it will be a really good quality blazer. It won't be like modern day blazers.
Bex is all about old quality stuff. I like the way Terry goes, thank you. I think it was just really cute.
But also, I am in favour of uniforms at schools, because then everybody's kind of on a par. No one's singled out.
Yeah, and everyone's
I think it's really good. But at the same time, it's so expensive to get uniform together.
Oh, we've had an issue with uniform this week. So I bought this lovely play suit. So, like summer dresses in gingham.
Yeah.
She's got them, but she loves them. But she keeps wearing shorts underneath them. And she keeps, I don't know where she's putting these shorts at the end of the day, but we're losing shorts like you won't believe. So I'm trying to find them, trying to make sure they're all washed and stuff. But also it's an extra layer when it's hot. So she's always complaining she's hot. So I'm right. So I found these play suits from Marks and Spencer's. So I got one because I knew she'd be a bugger about it. And I was like, just try it, just wear it. It'll be fine. Just try it. Would she wear this flaming place. Anyway, she did wear it on Friday. And she was like, oh, do you know what? It was really cool. And I'm like, oh my, I know. That's why I got it. But and they're just like, ugh. Anyway.
Yeah. And she's probably only got 2 days left of school.
She has literally got 2 days left of school now. She finishes on Tuesday.
When you say play suit, you mean like it's the whole outfit, but it's shorts.
Yeah. So instead of a dress, it's shorts instead of a.
Oh, but
which is fine until you need to go for a wee.
Well, and then that's the other annoying thing, Bex. So normally she's like a camel. She doesn't go to the toilet. What? She doesn't even glance in the toilet's direction.
No, she doesn't. She comes to stay with me for the weekend, and she has like 1 week.
Guess how many times she went in this play suit to the toilet?
45 times. 3
times at school. Jen, this is unheard of. She's literally never goes once during the day normally. She went 3 times. I'm like, you are just doing this to be difficult.
But what point was she making? She'd already worn it.
Yeah, but she was just basically like it was really hard to use. Like she was right in not wanting to wear it. And I was like,
oh, God. But why does she want to wear shorts under the dress? Like modesty?
For modesty, yeah.
Modesty, she does a lot of splits, Jen. I can't explain it. But genuinely I saw her. We went to the park after school. Yeah, we went to the park after school and the boys were all playing football and she was the only girl left out of it, like our gang kind of in the class. And I just saw her like casually go over to them and like, look at this, and then did the splits for them. None of them care. Like it was just.
My niece constantly wears little boy shorts under all skirts and things.
Yeah, that's what we do.
They're just constantly cartwheeling, handstanding.
Yeah, 100%.
Sitting with their legs wide open.
The difference between your niece and my daughter doing that is, Bex, that yours can cartwheel and do that, and mine can't. But she's like, look at this, and then does it and can't.
Oh, you guys, this is a very quick tangent. No, never mind. I'm not skip it. Let's go back to the show. Okay, what are we talking about?
So should we talk about Fred? Because I feel like Fred is the whole point of this next story.
Okay.
Okay.
Fred is looking through photos in the box and he's like, oh, Betty had a lovely smile. Teeth like that were a rarity round here.
So just to give it context, this is because Winston Churchill's died. He's getting his medals out ready so he can wear them to the funeral. And he comes across a picture of Betty, who was beautiful.
She was cute. She was really cute.
Beautiful. She was. And he was like, oh, bloody Blitz. And then Violet's talking about Bert. And it was a really lovely scene.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he was doing some work was it the maternity home that he was coming out of?
Yeah, because they blew a fuse.
Yes. So he's doing some work there and then he hears this noise and he looks in the bin, like, find like, what's that noise? And he finds the cutie. Isn't she just?
Oh my gosh.
Also, how much do I want to find an abandoned baby?
I know.
And Fred did it.
I know. You've been wanting that for so long, Bex.
I know.
Bex, one time I'm going to find a baby or bring a baby that's like, I don't know, a baby that I know. And bring it on the doorstep and pretend, just so for like an hour you can feel like you've found it.
Oh.
You probably hate it in real life. It'll be a lot of pressure. You'll be like, oh my God, what do we do?
So he finds the baby. They know she's not a newborn. She's at least 24 hours old. Fred names her. Now, Sister Frances says that Fred should name her.
That scene with Fred, can I just say, can we have more Fred and Frances scenes, please? Because amazing. Well, not anymore, we won't, but spoiler, but carry on.
So I didn't think they were going to come up with Primrose. Lovely name. But I thought
it was... Sorry, what were you going to say, Bex?
Well, I had ideas of what other names could be, but what were you going to say? It is a beautiful name.
The fact that little flowers that turn up in the cold, that is so cute.
Yeah.
It's so cute, but I thought he was going to say Betty.
Oh, that's also a good shout.
Also would have worked out, yeah. I thought he was going to say Winifred.
I mean, those scenes were so close together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, she was so beautiful. She was so sweet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and we've had that before. Like, remember Barbara? Like, she got a baby named after her. You know what I mean? Like, other people have gotten babies. And I was like, and when Frances was like, I asked Sergeant Wolf if I could name her before she goes to St. Cuthbert's. And her face is like a little glow bug again. And so Fred's like, well, can I hold her? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, what do you think the name should be? And he's like, Primrose. And I was like, wait, sorry? And like, what? Like, I mean, and then he was like, oh, the flowers are blue in the winter. And I was like, okay, that's great or whatever. But it just really threw me off.
Well, I thought he was going to suggest Winnie. You went Winifred, Alex.
Yeah.
But then
why thought... Winnie, though?
Fred, Winifred.
Oh,
Winston Churchill. Oh my God, I didn't even think of that.
Oh, didn't think of that either.
Oh,
no.
I see where you went with Winifred.
Yeah, I thought about after Fred, like Frida. Yeah.
I thought you were just doing a version of Winnie for Winston.
No, because I'm thick. Carry on.
No, but
maybe a baby after yourself would be a little like much, I think.
Well, no, that's why I thought he was going to go Winnie for Winston Churchill.
Yeah, but if you remember, he was annoyed at Raymond Nonatus not being called Fred.
Oh my God, yeah, that baby too.
Yeah. Although actually, Scummy called hers after him. Carry on, Bex.
Yeah. And I thought Sister Frances was going to suggest Frida.
Yeah.
Which would have also been a nod to Fred. Anyway, neither of those names applied.
I thought it was a lovely reasoning, though. Anyway, the baby had purple sewing thread.
Tying off of the umbilical cord.
Now, I need to talk about belly buttons for a minute, because I, up until probably this episode, thought that you literally like knotted off the umbilical cord, and that how well they tied the knot determined whether you had an innie or an outie.
Are you joking?
No, but it just literally falls off, doesn't it?
You've had two, what? How did you not know that?
Well, I just thought they knotted it. They tried to do their best to knot it really close to where the belly button is, and that determined the shape of the belly button.
So innies are when they've knotted it really close, and outies are when they did a bad job.
When they've gone, yeah. But it just literally falls off.
I just think this is the sweetest opinion that I have heard in a long time. Oh my God. You know
because
what?
It is like a knot in there, isn't it?
I know.
It's not a knot.
But Bex.
Well, no, I know that now.
Come on. The thing is, I know I have a bunch of these where I think something that's like really like doesn't make sense.
I thought they were putting helicopters on roofs in Poplar in 1950, see, this is the thing. Like, I can't talk.
I mean, I don't mean this in a type of way, but like I've had like a lot of like things that I thought were right, and they're really just me just being dumb, and like that I own up to it, but that's kind of one, Bex. Like that doesn't make any sense.
To be honest, shall I ask my 7-year-old tomorrow what she thinks on that?
Yeah, ask her how. Yeah, well, she's seen the full Call the Midwife experience.
So Sergeant Wolf is then looking into how this whole who's the baby's is, all this kind of stuff. And then they were talking about it in Anata's house. It was like Lucille and everyone, and Sister Mojo, saying about abandonment.
Oh, well, but also Mojo again was like, when I was your age, the baby would have just been dead. And it's like, what? And
washed up on the riverbank.
Well, saying mudlarks would recover them naked and dead on the shoreline of the river.
Oh, then, I was like...
Yeah, and then Mother Mildred being like, it's little to do with poverty, much to do with desperation. I'm not going to lie, Mother Mildred did annoy me a bit this week. I'm not going to lie.
Well, oh, really? I loved her.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay. Well, see, I thought poverty and desperation like kind of go hand in hand. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? So I was like, well, you're making, like, to me, it was like, that line from Sister Mildred was like the hard work line from Deanna. I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
You're like trying to sound really profound and wise, and like,
but in the end, just eat your tea cakes, mate.
They are desperate, but they're desperate because they're in extreme poverty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they weren't poor, like the situation would be totally different. So come on now.
I mean, Brenda does, we don't know if she's called Brenda at that point, but she does turn up at the maternity home with a gift for the baby.
A matinee jacket in yellow.
The minute she rocked up, I knew she was the mother. And Sister Frances...
I've seen it before as well.
No, that doesn't mean anything for Bex. No.
But also Sister Frances being Miss Marple that she is.
I know! I love it. She's so switched on.
The minute she came in, I thought, but she did notice that she was obviously lactating. I didn't want to use the word lactating, but I didn't know how else to say.
Well, I like the way Sergeant Wolf asked how to spell it.
Yeah, I was like, I really wanted to have one of those moments where I was like, okay, sound it out. Like, here we go. What's the first letter? Just try it.
I can't spell with normal letters anymore since phonics with my daughter. I'm like, leaka to ata inaga. Like, I can't even do LAC anymore.
Wait a minute, you guys, quick divergent. Okay, because you mentioned that. Like, I don't know if you guys got it over there, but we had this like thing on social media go viral this year around like maybe like in like May, early June, when like all of the colleges and universities were having their commencement speeches. And there was this one commencement speech at like St. Thomas Aquinas University or something like that. I can't remember where. But the person who was saying all the names of all the graduates had these cards where the names were written, and then they also were written out phonetically. And I don't know what happened to this woman, but she started saying people's names absolutely insane. Like she was saying them all completely wrong. Like it was like Tihome, like Bihojad or whatever. Like it was like she was just pronouncing them like completely wrong. And like she got the name Thomas wrong. Like she got the name like Peter wrong. She got the name like Susan wrong. I mean, it was absolutely wild. Like,
you know what, Jen? This is like, so you know, my daughter was Fairy Queen again.
Yeah.
So the woman who read it, she's lovely, and this isn't going to answer because they don't know where we are, but honestly, she's a bit nuts and she's lovely. But they had these new kids this year and they're asking their names. Now, one of the girls, I'm not going to say her name, but she's got like a hyphenated second name, and the last word is Sai, right? And the mum was like, you know, Sai, like like trying to say how you sigh. Like that's how you, it's because it's not spelt like that, but that's how you say it. So when she said her name, she was like, da-da-da-da. She did a sigh. It was
now, my
God.
friend's husband is a lecturer.
Supposed to be a crowning moment.
Wait, hold on.
Students have become a viral sensation for all the wrong reasons. The person reading the names of the students during a graduation ceremony wasn't given the names of the students, but apparently just a pronunciation guide to their names. And the result was, well, a bit off.
Victoria Lee Zubith-Ross, Jessica Lynn Bower, Alisuna Cole Bishop, Allison Care Campbell, Tom Mulvey, Thomas
Jefferson.
Oh, Jen, you broke up then.
You keep breaking up, we can't hear you.
Oh, the name of the university is Thomas Jefferson University, and she called this young man named Thomas Timume. Or Tamume.
But my friend's husband is a lecturer, and they were at a graduation ceremony, and nobody would volunteer to call the names out. And he was like, well, I can do it. And then as soon as he actually had the job, then he realized that the reason nobody wanted to do it is because they have a lot of Asian students.
Oh, God.
And bless him.
I'm joking.
Bless him. He spent so long, like, looking at making sure he knew how to pronounce it, then wrote it all out phonetically so that he could actually, but he was in complete panic mode because if somebody didn't show up that he was expecting,
he'd be in the wrong order,
completely throw him off.
Although that would throw anybody off regardless of, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who the kids are, right? Like, you don't have any idea. But
also
that's
not just
tough.
that. It's like a big moment. You don't want to do it wrong for people, do you?
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's true. It's a
How did we even get onto this?
I really don't. Wait, who are we talking about? Brenda?
We're talking about Sergeant Wolf doing detective work.
Yes. We were talking about
because he didn't know how to say lactating. Yeah, he didn't know how to say lactating. Okay, we're back. We're back.
Anyway, so he finds about this purple thing, and he goes to. I love this. He went to a haberdasher's. He went to Violet G to talk about detective work, to talk about the silk.
Oh, the thread.
Talk about the thread, and she was like, "Oh, it's silk. It's much too posh for me. I wouldn't have anything like. It'd be a special order. He's not got it from here." So, which I thought was mega. And yeah, so anyway, apparently Brenda turns up at the hospital. Sergeant Wolf calls Trixie and is like, "There's a really distressed woman who's turned up at the hospital. We've got her in our care," which I actually thought Sergeant Wolf was a lot better than he normally was. Like he's growing on me a lot, and I did think, I wonder if this character's supposed to be in it more than we. Anyway, we need to talk about this afterwards because yeah. So Mother Mildred and Trixie go to see Brenda, and she's in a cell, and they say like, Mother Mildred's like, "We're here, whichever you need to be, midwife, friend, like all this kind of stuff." And she doesn't want to speak to Mother Mildred because she's a religious woman, so it's all this very strange thing. So Trixie takes to the toilet, and it was just really sad, wasn't it?
Yeah, we find out that she's been divorced. She thinks it's a really shameful thing. Her husband used to beat her.
Yeah.
She
works. But that ain't even
the
half of it. That ain't half of it.
No, she works as a housekeeper for a local priest, Catholic priest.
And as soon as she said where she lived, Trixie was like, "Huh, okay." So.
And I think Mother Mildred, from the start, we meet
clocked it immediately.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Bex.
We meet Father Duncombe.
I thought.
I'm giving that noise because of his character, not because of your...
I was just double checking that was his surname. Yeah, we meet Father Duncombe. Mother Mildred knows from the off.
Yeah,
it's sketchy.
She's got the vibes from this man, absolutely.
And they're talking about Brenda. He says that he's just.
Well, he says she's a broken woman. She was always a broken woman before because she came to us. Now, the thing that was weird for me was the timeline, because he's like, "Oh, she's been here like 2 months." As
2 months?
Oh no, he was lying. He was lying.
Wait, she'd lived there for 2 months, but I think she'd worked for him for longer.
Yeah, that's what I was. Okay. But I was thinking it's a bit strange that it's only been 2 months.
Oh, see, I just thought he was like straight lying about when she came.
I got the impression that she's been the housekeeper for longer, but she'd only lived there in the past 2 months. And I think she's lived there in the past 2 months because he knew she was pregnant.
Trying to conceal it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then there was a scene where Mother Mildred goes to actually his vestry and then to his personal study, and she finds the purple thread there. She's like, does she come to your personal study to do that, Father? And he was like, oh, on occasion. And I was like, oof, she's absolutely,
Mm-hmm. She's like Sherlock Holmes basically at this point.
Yeah.
But he immediately recommends like permanent, like a continued separation of Brenda and the baby, because he's like, presumably she's going to be put up for adoption. That's what he's pushing for. That's his agenda.
Absolutely.
Now, can I just say, this did annoy me a bit, because I feel like Mother Mildred was like this, like, best, like, what's the word? She was like a champion for, and she was a champion for Brenda, an advocate for Brenda, a champion for her. But I just feel like, actually, yeah, Miriam Margolyes would be, because she's very liberal. But I just can't see an Anglican nun being absolutely great with the mum being like that and not agreeing with the priest on that. I just don't see it. Like, as liberal as you are.
Don't forget that she's done a lot of work. Like, she's the reason that the Turners, May's been placed with the Turners, because that whole Hong Kong adoption program.
Yeah.
And like, exactly. So why would she be? She wouldn't be against adoption.
No, she wouldn't.
She's not against adoption. She's against this woman getting railroaded into an adoption she doesn't want by her next abuser, which is this priest that's taking advantage of her.
I just think she was very like gung ho with that. I don't know why. I'm trying to understand why it annoyed me so much with how gung ho she was. I think I was just a bit like, this isn't realistic. I think she'd be more judgmental than she's trying to make out this would be about because Sister Julienne's had moments about like, I don't agree with like contraception and things like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But do we all agree that he was the one that abandoned her in the bin?
Oh no, I didn't even realise that.
No. I think she did the abandoning because she was desperate.
No, because
But he took the baby from her?
Yeah, I think she delivered the baby. I think he took the baby because she was so heartbroken that she was afraid that the baby would die if nobody found her. But why would you, if you wanted her to be found, why would you put her in a bin?
She put her outside the maternity home.
Yeah, but in a lidded bin. She didn't just put her outside the door.
Maybe she thought the top of the bin would protect her.
No, no. He did it. I think between them, he's said, I'm going to take the baby and I'm going to leave her at the maternity home. But then I just think let's see what our listeners think. Do our listeners think? I just got the vibe that he was the person that did the abandonment.
What I'll do, Bex, is I will do a poll on our Instagram.
Yeah, there we go.
And I'll tell you what else we need to do, Bex. Those photos, I'll share them and put a poll if people like them or not.
Yeah.
Okay,
here's what I think could have happened. And I don't think we ever got the scene because clearly we're talking about it. I think what could have happened is she gave birth, he helped her give birth, and then they together kind of figured that out. And then it was like, what's going to happen?
Oh, which is why the thread was open in his office.
Yeah, exactly. And then he like kind of talked her into abandoning the baby, and she was like, no. And then he was like, well, listen, we'll leave it outside the maternity home, wink wink or whatever. But he like put the baby in the bin, closed the lid on the bin, and then
that's exactly what I think happened.
Yeah, but she like, I don't think she like had the baby taken out of her arms and she didn't know where it was. You know what I mean? Like, I think that they were, if he was coercive, but like, I don't think that she did it, that it was completely outside of her knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought maybe that she'd done it out of desperation because she was just like, this situation's so awful. He was making her feel so ashamed.
Yeah, and he was like, well, she can't stay here if she has the baby. And then she was like, oh my God, where am I going to go? And so then she
that's what I agree. And that's what I think's happened. I think she knows that she can't, she thinks that she can't keep the baby. They've decided that the maternity home is the best place to abandon her.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think she would have left her in the bin. Because if that baby hadn't have cried and those bins had been emptied.
Yeah.
Although they weren't emptied into like a thing in those days. They were emptied by hand, weren't they?
Still, Alex, if somebody had come home drunk with a kebab, shoved it in the top of the bin.
Yeah.
So anyway, Brenda moves to Nonata's house to kind of be looked after in the interim.
Yeah.
And then they reunite her with the baby. So she actually does get to see the baby again because she really wants to. It's a really strange situation because I don't know, would there have been criminal charges to her as well for abandonment of those days? And I'm saying now, I'll tell you, you'd be pushing for criminal charges to her in those days, Peter.
Yeah. He'd be like, it's the law. Oh, well.
I might do some research into this. I don't think if you've abandoned a baby, but if you've abandoned it and you've put the welfare of the baby at risk, I mean, a lot of the times nowadays when you see abandoned baby, the primary concern is for the mother, because you need to obviously get medical help for the mother, and then obviously see how you can
So anyway, it all ends nicely.
Anyway, okay,
because the priest is basically admonished by Mother Mildred many times. And then Brenda and Primrose go back to the mother house in Chichester, which is good on her.
And he I don't know, with the priest.
He's not going to visit.
No, but he does visit. He visits the baby in the hospital. He doesn't realize that Brenda's with the baby, but he does go to visit the child.
I'll tell you what, I'm really sorry if you're the actor who played it, but they did a really good job of finding a really creepy actor, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But just the double standard with him, because he said she's not like, he then says that she's unemployed because she's not morally suitable. He's absolutely taken a vulnerable woman but then he tells us.
We also not forget the vows he's taken. I mean,
well, yeah, there's that as well.
Oh. Yeah, but also, the other thing is, though, he's given money and says he loved her, which is weird. But I will say, like, he's not wrong insofar as if it wasn't his baby anyway, she wouldn't be able to keep that job with him with a baby, because they're the Catholic Church. They can't be seen to. And I'm not saying I agree with this, but they can't be seen to condone, the
insane irony of that is just like killing me with that.
Jen just thinks I'm a fallen woman, is what we're saying there.
Wait, what?
No, you're talking about the priest. I'm joking. Oh, do you know, it was lovely though. Francis making a night dress out of the.
Oh my God, I was sobbing. I was sobbing when she brought that baby blanket in.
Fred planting a primrose for her as well.
Yeah, that she could take with them.
Oh, guys, can we also talk about the thing that made me cry most in the episode? I literally did a big snort and loads of snot came out.
What?
Violet putting Betty in a frame.
Oh. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. The two of them were just making me sob so much. Oh my God. They have the most beautiful marriage. I love their marriage. They are so understanding of each other and their previous relationships and lives and everything. I can't. I just think it's so beautiful.
I agree.
Ugh, love it.
Can we also talk about Lucille and Val, by the way, with cucumber on their eyes, preferring to be in TV? Like literally at the back of the funeral in front, like black and white, literally the car driving past, and she's like, I can't have my mum seeing me like that. I'm tired.
Well, what about Trixie with the electric razor?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Lady Shaver.
All right, what other big storylines do we have to talk about here?
Well, we do need to talk about the funeral because Sister Monica Jones was watching it and Violet was on TV. That was exciting. They had Turn by the Birds, which is just, I don't know what it is about that song, but it gets me so emotional. But I think it's because it's on Forrest Gump as well.
Oh, really? Because I did not like that song choice.
What?
No, I didn't. I just didn't think it was serious. It seemed too upbeat for the scene. I just didn't like it.
I think it's a really moving song. I think they absolutely slapped with that. They properly got it right.
No. Well, not for me. I mean, it just tonally, it just didn't feel right to me, but that's just preference, you know what I mean?
How perfect are your pins? You can win a year's supply of slender leg tights by sending us a snap of your gorgeous gams. Individual or group, lols. That was absolutely chef's kiss writing. Brilliant. And also, did you like the props? So they came runners up in the work section or something. Wonderful legs in the workplace section. I mean,
oh my Lord.
But did you see the stuff they use, like the Tutti Frutti and Op Art?
Well, and for their lissom limbs as well, which was another amazing piece. Like, no one would ever say that now because we like all have lost the ability to read and write. But
gams as well. Gams isn't something I've never heard.
Yeah,
I have just listened. I just went on mute so I could listen to.
I thought that was weird.
Yeah. And I get what you're saying, Jen, because it was quite upbeat, but the lyrics are really appropriate.
Oh, the lyrics make sense for sure, but it just,
I think
the melody didn't.
The singing makes it really. I really like that song.
Also, it's sad that he's died, but it's not tragic because he was a 90-year-old.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think it needed to be. That's why I thought it was. Yeah, I see where Alex is going with the song choice.
Mm.
I need to just we've talked about the rabbits earlier in the episode, but I do need to highlight when Angela and May find that the rabbits have had babies in the hutch, and Sheila describes them as animated giblets.
Well, I like the way that Dr. Turner's like holding on to May and Angela while they're screaming, looking like really concerned. And he just lets Sheila go and have a look and deal with it. He's looking as nervous as the girls.
Motions for her to investigate what the horrific scene is that the kids have just witnessed.
And then goes and mansplains what baby rabbits are called, actually. I think you'll find they're called kittens. And she's like, Patrick, this is going to be educational enough. Shut the hell up.
I like the fact that the kids have all now got a rabbit each.
Oh, yeah. Don't think they'll be keeping them. They won't keep them.
No.
Oh, they will.
No.
The 1960s, of course they will.
They won't. They'll let them run off into the garden.
She already has enough to do.
She's too organised to let them have. She's way too organised to let them have 7 rabbits on the go backs.
Oh, not 7. Yeah, I could see them keeping like a couple.
Did they have 7?
I don't know. I just made that up, but either way.
Well, I mean, the thing is, rabbits are notorious for like high birth rates. So, I mean,
and now they wouldn't know which ones were which. They need to just keep Genevieve, get rid of the others. It's a sensible thing to do, and that's what Sheila.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, Sheila has now 4 kids, 2 rabbits, her husband to take care of. You know what I mean? Like she's working full time. Like enough's enough at a certain point. You got to say no.
Now
she doesn't say no.
Oh, go on.
Well, no, just that point. She doesn't say no. Dr. Turner tells us she's doing too much, but carries on regardless.
Yeah, true.
That is kind of true.
He'll be like, oh, what's a few more rabbits in the mix?
And she'll be like, oh, Patrick. And then they'll just keep going. Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about is that they knock on the door and Sister Julienne answers, and this guy's like, what year was this place built? And she's like, 1860. Like, what? You wouldn't be like, who are you? And then he's like, oh, we're from the council survey slum clearance. And you're like, what? Like, they were so rude. Poor Sister.
Well, yeah, they were so rude.
And then they were like, well, do we need to get inside? It's like, no, it's going to be torn down anyway. And she's like, excuse me? And it's like, all right, tatty-o, boys. You know, and they just run away. And it's like, are you kidding me with this?
Do you know what, though? So she gets the urban demolition notice. And can I just say, Sister Hilda made me lol. She was like, I need to say a good word for our old friend Prayer. And it absolutely made me lol.
Well, it was funny because she gets a notice and then Sister Julian is like, well, it's gonna happen sometime within the next 2 years. And she's like, well, what do we do? What do we do about it? And she's like, I'm afraid there's nothing we can do. And then Sister Hilda's like, I think there is something we can do. And Sister Julian is like, what? And she's like, have you forgotten our old friend Prayer? And she's like, wait, still what? Like,
yeah, but also I like the way it went really gangster really quick. Sister Julian went so gangster so quick. Yeah. Tell no one. Like so threatening.
Yeah, like, she was like, this is the omerta, you know what I mean? Like she was like, I don't want anyone to know, which I was like, oh, another burden you're shouldering completely alone, but okay.
Okay, should we do heroes and zeros?
Yes. My hero is going to be Mother Mildred.
Okay.
Because she saw through that priest from the very first moment. And I do appreciate what you were saying earlier about how I don't think there was a double standard. I just think she advocated for her. And I think because she saw through him from the start, I think she kind of realised that she was in a vulnerable situation.
Yeah, no, fair. I just, it's still the fact that it would still be bad for them to be in the Catholic faith and having that. I just don't know. It just was all rang a bit weird to me. But carry on.
And then my zero is going to be the priest.
Good one.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said he loved her, but he just completely exploited her. Vulnerable. She was really vulnerable. He had the nerve to say that she was morally bankrupt. He didn't use those words, when actually he's a priest that has done that. I think he is the one that is morally bankrupt. But to the double standard to judge her, but literally zero judgment of himself.
True. Jen?
Mm-hmm. My zero this week is gonna be, oh man. Oh, you know what? This is kind of small, but like that teacher that was mean to Terrence, because oh my God, like just do your job better. Also, oh my God, wait, we never talked about how Brenda was the same lady as the lady who had her teeth fixed when Trixie and the dentist were getting together.
No, I don't think she was.
Are you sure? I really thought she was.
Well, you tell me your zero and I'll look it up.
Okay. So yeah, that teacher was just horrible and like, get your act together. Yeah, just not good. And then, well, okay, I will give, this is be my in-episode hero. So my in-episode hero is going to be Fred and Violet and just their love for each other and the way that they take care of each other. I just thought the scenes with them, remembering
two different actresses.
I thought for sure they were the same.
No.
I can see how they, now that you've said that, they do have a look of each other.
Oh, very much.
Well, yeah, the haircut. They just anyway. I mean, they're clearly different, but it's just like, oh man, that was wild. Okay, I thought I was so clever with that. Okay, but I love Fred and Violet. Like they're so loving to each other about everything, but just the way that they like really, really understand each other about loving each other now, but then also having a lot of love for Bert and Betty and the lives they lived with them before and everything. I just thought it was like such a beautiful testament to a life experience that to me just doesn't get a lot of, just a lot of attention sometimes. So I just love that. And then I just have to give an extra hero to this whole episode because this episode was amazing. And I said it at the top, but I'll say it again. I just loved it. I thought we were just back on form. Like this is an episode that makes me just 100% remember all the reasons why I love Call The Midwife. And anyway, that's my take.
Okay. My 0 is diphtheria.
Absolutely.
The smell alone. Yeah.
Oh.
My hero is going to be Fred because I think he did a really good job. Well, also the team of Fred and Francis I'm going to give it to because I think they did a really good job together and it was really cute and I loved them.
She's amazing.
So they've already got they can just go by Francis because they've already got
like it would be Fred and Sis. That's just a bit weird, isn't it?
If they have a couple name.
Brad. Now, I've got one quick thing before we go.
Uh-huh.
And it's from Oda. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
It says, "Hi, I love your podcast and just wanted to send you guys a little message with a question. I just heard the episode where you're discussing the Christmas special. In this, Avril Fox, one of the pregnant girls, Christmas special 2014. I've just realised we've just done the 2019 one.
Oh.
In this, Avril Fox, one of the pregnant girls, commented how the age difference between Dr. Turner and Sheila gives her the creeps. I wondered how you feel about this age difference. Sorry for the long message, but I look forward to hear your answer. Kind regards from Oda from Norway." And I was like, oh my God, from Norway. This is so exciting.
Norway?
Yeah. And I was like, this is so exciting. She was like, thank you so much. I look forward to your podcast, to every podcast episode. It's one of the highlights of my week. So thank you so much for listening, Oda. And hello. And what do we think about the 17 years difference? I looked this up.
Wait a minute.
I just looked it up because you said it. Now, I was obviously aware that there was an age difference because he's obviously got Timothy. So
yeah.
But wait a minute. Are you saying that the actor who plays Dr. Turner and the actress who plays Sheila are actually 17 years?
In the show, he's born in 1909 and she's born in 1926.
How?
So as of 19, I'm just looking.
Wait a minute.
Mum and their dad loved each other very much and they got married.
No, but wait, hold up.
So when she was 43, he was 60.
Oh my God, that's like me having a 60-year-old husband. And I think 48's old. Sorry, husband.
Wait, so when she's 43, he's 60. Okay.
Yeah. Now I don't approve. Now that I know this, I don't approve of it.
Like I would if he was good looking.
Guys, I did not. Okay, rude. I did not think that age gap was that big. I thought they were like 10 years apart or something. Max,
well, Oda has highlighted it for us.
Yeah, I didn't realize before how big the age gap was.
No.
I mean, I was getting like, to me, I was like, oh, okay, she's a little bit younger, like a bit, you know what I mean? Because Dr. Turner, like, no shade to him, but he really gives like middle age on this show, like in a big way. But
you're speaking as a middle-aged person, like
I know. Yeah. I look like I'm 22 though. So, but anyways, but Sheila obviously has like, a youthful freshness. But I was thinking that he was in his 40s and she was in her 30s because she's been a nun for like a minute, And so to me, it never seemed weird. Although I will say this, once you're like 30 or 35, an age gap like that, I just don't think is a big deal.
Oh, you say that. And who married Michael Douglas?
Oh, Catherine Zeta-Jones?
When she married him, I was like, yeah, that age gap is fine. Now it's not okay.
It's not okay.
She looks like she's all in the prime of her life and he's just less like.
Well, he just looks like old fruit. I mean, it's bad, like
like they say, like old age creeping up on you. That happens every night to her.
Oh my God. Oh God. But wait, are they 17 years difference as well?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought they were like 20 plus different years.
The age gap though between Laura Main and Stephen McGann is not that far. He's currently 61. She's currently 47.
That's more like it. Although that's still
quite a lot.
That's still 14 years.
Yeah. But that's what surprises me now is that the age gap, I wouldn't have said that was that
25 years age gap between Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, yeah. 20 25, when you're talking like a whole generation different, that's kind of too much for me. I mean, everyone can do whatever they want.
That's the same age gap with my father-in-law and his wife.
25 years?
Yeah, but I mean, I hope no one listens.
I'm not commenting about them, but I'm not there for an age gap. 5. What's your age gap, Alex? That's okay.
5 years. Actually, 6 years. For 2 months of the year, it's 6 years, and don't I let him know.
Yeah, see, my parents, it's 5 years as well. And like, I think that's that makes sense, whatever, that's fine. To me, when you start getting into like when you're like over a decade, it's like, okay, but like 20 plus years is just a big
thing is, though, I think it depends on the individual. If you're already quite old acting or they're young acting, I just think it all depends on the individual, doesn't it?
No,
absolutely. Yeah.
For an age gap, a very short window when it's acceptable.
Well, here's the thing.
If someone's in there...
Like Anna Nicole Smith got it right, didn't she?
Well, they had like a 60-year age gap.
It was like they were married for about an hour.
Early 20s. I'm not going to say teenage, but I do mean teenage. But even early 20s, somebody who's like 30 plus.
Yeah.
That's too big an age. Like, so then maybe when you're in your 30s and 40s, 30 to 50, that whole 2-decade period, I think it's acceptable to have an age gap. Then once one person starts to age more, then I just think
what you saying is, Bex, once they get to 60, you're divorcing them.
I just think at one point one of them's a bit of a pervert. And then at the other end of the scale, you're just somebody's carer.
So what you're trying to say is Dr. Turner's a pervert?
Yes, that's what she's trying to say. Yes, and then Sheila will be his carer. Well, Bex, don't worry, she's his carer now, so you don't even have to worry about that. Like, they're already there. But here's the thing,
and the rabbits.
I know. I actually heard something on a podcast which I thought was really good because it was these two guys and they were talking about like, what do you think about age gap in relationships? And anyway, they gave some answers or whatever, but one of them said something which I agreed with, which he's like under, I think he said under 25 is just a hard no, like nothing. No. It's like, it's not appropriate. From 25, how old's this person? He's in his 40s, this guy. I think he's like mid to late 40s. And he was just speaking like generically about anybody, not him specifically. Right. And he was just saying like for anyone, yeah, just like under 25, like no, just it's not right. After that, you can kind of like start to have some incremental age gaps that make sense based on like life experience and maturity and things like that. And then the thing that I think all of us can agree on is that like the older you get, the less that it matters. Like if you're 65 and you're dating an 80-year-old, like who cares? You know what I mean? Like it just, but that to me is where I think it kicks in. And I don't think I don't think Dr. Turner and Sheila got together when they were too young for an age gap that they could successfully be together.
Well, I just think live, laugh, love.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's honestly it's up to whoever it is. Your daughter. Yeah, it's all live, laugh, love until it's Bob's, and then she's dating a 40-year-old criminal who's in like a workhouse or whatever, doing license plates and stuff.
The criminal, not
because remember you were critical about that criminal.
I'm saying the criminal's not happening. She can date a 70-year-old. Actually, she can do an Anna Nicole billionaire, please. When you're 19, 20 with a 91-year-old, I'm like, look, love, he's got 2 we can get an house out of this. Do you know what I mean?
It's like if there was a 40-year-old and a 60-year-old, that seems acceptable.
Yeah.
But the minute you put a 40-year-old with a 20-year-old,
that's hard. That's actually a crime, I think. I mean, something's wrong.
No, it's not. Not in this country.
Not in this country.
Go for it from 16.
Maybe it's more of a moral crime. Although, wait, did you guys hear about Tobey Maguire taking that 20-year-old to a party?
Allegedly.
Yeah, I've seen loads of TikToks on it.
Yeah, I don't know more than that, but I just heard that happened. I don't know the details. I don't know anything about it.
I've seen a TikToker pretending to be his friend at this party.
I saw that video.
And this TikToker's like, I'll try and send it you back. Literally, this TikToker's like pretending to be his friend and be like, hi, yeah, I'm Toby's best friend. Yeah. Who are you? Sorry, what? How old are you? You can't drink. How old are you? What? You're not even what? Toby, what? Toby's gone to the bar or whatever, and he's like, what? Well, I'm just. This is really awkward. I'm just gonna go. It's just really good.
Yeah. Does that answer the question? I think we covered it.
I think we were quite opinionated on that.
I think we really were, Oda. If anything, you gave us a little bit of content there.
Yeah, I was gonna say we probably said too much, and that's what you get. So
Well,
is it Orla? Orna?
Oda.
Oda.
Oda. Yeah.
Oda. Well, Oda, we hope we gave you enough.
And thank you for
there.
listening to us all the way from Norway. That's
I
exciting,
know,
isn't it?
Norway. Norway is such a cool place.
I was about to give you my Norwegians. I've realised I've got none.
You guys have both been to Norway, right?
No.
No.
Wait, you've been to Sweden?
No.
Wait, you've been to
yeah.
You've been to Denmark?
Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
to Denmark.
Yes. Okay, that's a trip. That's what I'm remembering. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Norway, we have to come and visit.
Also, Denmark was like it was like I was
Spiritual home.
I was gonna say your spiritual home is
Sweden's
that's
mine
right
because
there.
of Eurovision. And I will say though, Oda, Norway always do banging Eurovision entries. This year, my husband's favourite was Norway. It was like this weird metal one with this woman who did like a battle cry with a traditional Norwegian battle cry it's a metal band. But that was the it wasn't words, it was a battle cry as the chorus. It was great.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. I think we've said enough.
Yeah. Well, the other one last year, the year before was the Queen of the Kings. It was mega. Anyway, no one else. Anyway, so
who's gonna make the comment about how we can never finish a podcast?
You should have a Eurovision podcast.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
Oh wait, guys,
why didn't you do that?
Girls,
I need to find someone else who likes Eurovision as much as me, and if it's me and my husband, we'll just have to ump with each other too much.
I was gonna say, you know who you should follow, Alex, is a comedian over here named Amber Ruffin. She loves Eurovision.
Oh, I will do.
She does a lot of Eurovision stuff. Also, you guys, I think we should do a one-off episode about this season of Love Island, just for funsies. And I think we should relate it to Call the Midwife. I think we should like make a Call the Midwife Love Island crossover episode, like just for funsies before the summer's over.
I'll let you think about that, how that would work.
Well, Bex, you have to watch the rest of the season.
Yeah, I do.
And then
this is going to be a very niche.
It's super.
Audience.
Well, okay, here's the thing, listeners. We don't have to do it. I'm obsessed right now. I'm neck deep. I can't get out of it. I have a problem. I really have a problem. I'm gonna admit it. I'm standing up right now and I'm saying
escapism, Jen.
I'm Jen. I love Love Island. I have an issue with it. I just can't get over it. But if that's something you want to hear us say or talk about, let us know. If you don't care.
Let me just say, I genuinely don't think we're going to get one person saying they do.
Why didn't we do a poll?
Oh
yeah, do a poll on. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. Right, that's a lot of polls to be doing. I'll do it. I'll have to. Well, what I do is I'll listen to the episode when it goes live, and that reminds me to put stuff on social media.
There we go. Yeah. Well, and also by the time this goes up, the show will have finished, so then we can decide whether it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
Because right now we're in the thick of it, and everything about it feels like the most important thing on earth to me. Again, because I'm well, but it's a sickness.
Yeah, but also you're doing like the catching up thing where you're watching loads at once. I watch one episode a night, kind of thing.
I know. Yeah. It's like on my eyes when I close them at night to go to sleep. It's ridiculous. So okay.
Anyway, right. Thank you so much for listening. Follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and also like and subscribe. I couldn't remember all the social media then. And if you want to send us any questions, email us at callthemidwife@gmail.com.
Recall the midwife.
Call the midwife at gmail.com is just inundated with questions for us. So just send them through to us. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week for Series 9, Episode 2.
Bye.
Bye.